Hello, hi everyone. How is it going? How is everything? It's been a while since we last we last had a chat about the ongoing affairs, current affairs running around the world. There are so many things. I take time to talk about issues because I don't want to come to you without facts. I take my time to understand and analyze the situations that are going on. Then I come to you with the complete facts, well researched. So that's the best that's why you should stick to my channel, because all the information I provide to you here is well researched and it's reliably confirmed that is true. So for those who are subscribing, thank you so much. Continue subscribing, continue sharing, and continue watching. Hit the notification button so that you'll be the first person to be notified that the next time I upload a video. So today I want to talk about something critical. I have a very important topic and it's gonna be about, it will be done in series, but today I'm going to just give you an overview of the recent. I'm going to start a new series of videos that I'm going to be recording, and they will be regarding neo-colonialism. I know so many of you here feel like that topic is already exhausted, but I believe there are still some missing parts of the story you don't understand, and I feel like I need to at least add my voice on those who have tried to talk about it. And it seems African children, we are not actually understanding this. We are not actually understanding and reflecting ourselves in the current situation and the current state of our affairs. Because why? You know why we don't? Because we don't know the precursor, the background of all this, and why we are here, and why we have so many issues to deal with on our continent. So that's why I believe we should emphasize, we should be able to understand what's the cause of all these problems that are coming up, that we are going through. Coups everywhere, civil wars everywhere. There are so many things that are going on the African continent, from South Africa to Tunisia up there, to Tripoli, Libya. So many problems from Nigeria to Ethiopia, just civil wars around. But we need to understand why. When you ask that question, why? You know, I trade with the logic, and I need people. For you to understand all this and why they are happening, you must be able to understand and analyze the situations and ask the difficult questions. At first you ask those questions in your mind, then you go and start researching about those outstanding events and why they happened. So when you look at all these events that came, including the pre to, what can I even call it? How it is called independence, but is independence just a misnomer? We were never independent, and we were independent before they came, but since then we have never been independent. They just got their stooges, tried to convince us that we are we have self-determination and everything. Those old things, the all those simple or English words they use to convince us that we can now determine ourselves. Yet everything, prices of gold are decided in London, IMF, for us to even affect any financial change in our country. The policy, everything must be approved by the IMF and the World Bank, and we still consider ourselves independent. I doubt that. But we are the African children, we are the African people. We need to sit down and understand first and foremost. And that's where I come in. We need to understand We need who these people are, really. We need to understand who the Muzungu is, really. We need to unmask him. You know, there is a way, like I told you, it's gonna be a series. Today, I'm going to just give you the number of African leaders that have been killed, that have been murdered, just because of one thing. They can't agree with their those imperialist. I don't even have a proper word to use. Just because they don't agree with them, they were murdered because they had African interest at heart. So today we shall be looking at only those leaders, because there are many. Actually, they are very, very, very many. They are many, and today we are only going to look at that, the years, and you, most cases you find these were the young leaders. So they murdered those that had our interests at heart. They replaced them with the stooges, with these leaders that were brainwashed. America has a doctrine in America that trains the leaders for Africa, and it started back then in the 60s, the late 60s. They were training leaders they were training would-be leaders in Africa. So that's why if you look at all the leaders in Africa right now, 90% started from Latin America, started from now what they are doing. They actually study here in the continent or in their respective countries, but still they are brainwashed to carry on their projects. So that will be for another day. We shall look at we shall actually even look at the actual leaders that are leading that are now taking are in control of the respective countries, and where they came from, all of them, and where they attended their education, and which policies are they fulfilling, and what contribution do they have to our suffering as a continent. Today I'm going to start just one thing only. Today we are going to look at only one thing. You should share this video, or you can cut it and share over Facebook, WhatsApp, any social media platform. I need this message to go to as many people as they can. We need to do something. At least we need to liberate our minds. At least we should be able to liberate our minds. We may not have much, me as a person, I may not have much to do to change the situation. But if the population, our population, is awakened, if our moral fiber, if our brains are changed and our way of seeing things can be changed, then everything, it's all about our mindset. We still believe in foreign solutions. We still believe in those perpetrators of the same perpetrators that only our grandparents now are coming back pretending to have a solution of our suffering. That is a double standard today I have come to change. Let me start straight away with number one on my list. Niger, a country in Central Africa, just there. It's around Nigeria. I think here Central African Republic, and then up there I think was Sudan. So it's around there. In 1999, Ibrahim Bari Mama Sarah was killed because he didn't agree with France, and France was the imperial power. He was killed because of what? He didn't agree with the policies they wanted him to implement. And which policies to implement for whose benefit? Their benefit. Number two, Grigori Kaiwanda. This one is said to have been the last prince of the Rwandan kingdom. He was a Hutu. And this guy he was murdered in 1977. he was murdered by Habyarimana. But why? Why? Because of the grand plan that is actually happening right now. I wish I could tell you about the story of Rwanda and Uganda, but unfortunately, I can't. So, Laurent Kabila, he was 61 years old, 2001. He was a leader of DRC. He was at first a guerrilla leader, a rebel group leader, and then they captured power. After a couple, he was helped by Uganda and the Congo and some other Western powers. But after capturing power, he wasn't willing to implement what they wanted. So everything you're seeing that going around in Congo has been in, I don't know, ever since King Leopold stepped a foot in Congo, there has never been peace. So he was murdered in 2001, and he was replaced by his so-called son, Kabila. I leave it at that. And he was murdered by DR. Okay, let me leave that. Another one was Juvenal Habyarimana. He was 57 years old. He was murdered just before the Rwandan genocide in 1994, and he was murdered by the RPF. It was 1994. He was coming from Tanzania. That's where his plane was hit by a sky rocket. So that was 1994. And remember, it is said we go to another one. Teferi Bante was a leader of Ethiopia. He was murdered in 1977 by that rebel group who, I don't remember the leader. The name has gone. Now you see it. So we go to Muammar Gaddafi. He was 69 years old. He was murdered in 2011 by NATO forces. Those one we are all familiar with him. William R. Tolbert Jr. He was a leader of Liberia. You know, Liberia it was a country that was just created. So he was Tolbert Jr. He was murdered in 1980 by Sergeant Doe. Samuel Doe, actually Sergeant Doe, he was also murdered in 1990 by Charles Taylor, who was a rebel group leader. Samuel Doe was just 39 years old by the time he was murdered. So we go to Robert Guay, 2002, Ivory Coast, was murdered by France. I don't have to explain. Patrice Emery Lumumba, the African Che Guevara. When I talk about that guy, him and Thomas Sankara, I almost feel like crying. Patrice Emery Lumumba, just 34 years old. Now you understand why. Just imagine if all his ideas were implemented at least for just 10 years, at least he would be given a chance to serve, at least for 10 years alone, with all his transformative ideas he had. But it wasn't what he wanted to implement. Wasn't very pleasant with what the powers that be at that time, what they wanted. And he was murdered, brutally murdered by the CIA. And after murdering him, they had to install Mobutu Sese Seko, who was working in their interest from the word go. He gave them almost everything, every single mineral in that country, just because they were keeping him in power. He used to buy mansions in France, where when they are just looking and praising him. But when you consider the way how they killed Lumumba, with all the humiliation, 36 bullets. After moving him around, tied, his hands tied at the back with the ropes. But what was his crime? Having Africa at heart. Who is ready now to step into his shoes? No one, ever since he was murdered. He was murdered in 1961, just after achieving their independence. So we leave it at that. I have another one, Marien Ngouabi. He was a leader of Congo Brazzaville. This is Congo Brazzaville in 1977. So he was only 38 years. I tell you the years. Samuel Doe was 39 years. When you look at Patrice Lumumba, 34 years. Marien Ngouabi, 38 years, was murdered by the French oil company. So we proceed. Ali Soli. Ali Soili was a leader of Comoros. He was murdered by a French soldier. That is the French government in 1978. We go to Ahmed Abdullah. He was also so now they murdered Ali Soili in 1978. In 1989, they murdered another leader by the same people, Ahmed Abdullah. He was murdered by the same people that murdered Ali Soili. So we proceed. This name is very hard. He was the president of Chad, first president of Chad, Francois Tombalbaye, 1975. He was murdered. He was the first president of Chad. He didn't agree with what they wanted him to do. He was put out of action. Medul Dadai, Dadai. So this one was murdered in 1993. I hope this one is familiar with he was a Hutu president, first Hutu president in Burundi. He was murdered along with Habyarimana in the same plane. They were coming from Moshi. That is a known story. I don't know if you guys know. Sylvanus Olympio. I don't know if you guys know this guy. He was a leader of Togo, first president of Togo, and he was murdered. All these Western, these northwestern countries that their president was murdered. They were, because that region is controlled by the French. So when you hear any country in that region, just understand who is the perpetrator. Thomas Sankara, 37 years. These two boys, Sankara and Patrice Emery Lumumba. 1987, by his friend. You know, this thing of killing Thomas Sankara, I remember he was killed just after when the French president had visited Burkina Faso. That's when, he was murdered by his friend. He was his comrade in the arms, Blaise Compaoré. Now, just of recent, his trial was going on, and so many people happened, but nothing. Now it's almost 40 years ever since he was killed. There has been no justice. Everyone pretends to be, but he was Compaoré murdered him with help from Senegal and France, because France wanted him out of action as soon as possible. So they made it happen using his close friend, and they found him in a meeting. It was a cabinet meeting. They didn't survive, all of them. So Muhammad Anwar Sadat, he was a leader of Egypt, was murdered just after when he gave up. They had a war with Israel, those Arab countries. Just after that war, when they made a deal with Israel, he was murdered. So he was murdered by the same people, Israel and America. Muhammad Anwar Sadat. Ever since that day, Egypt has been dancing on the tunes of those guys. America and Israel up to now, including now. Fatal says now is a president. Now where I went to school to went to America. So everything now they are now controlled by America and Israel. General Mutala Muhammad. General Mutala Muhammad. He was a leader of Nigeria. He was murdered in 1976. You know, Nigeria has, I think, he has had many coups in Africa. Many of the African coups come from Nigeria. Nigeria has had so many leaders, and most of them have been military takeovers. Just like one of Buhari, General Babangida. There's another one of this guy that Abiola. They are all been military takeover and coups. So Abdurrashid Al Shamak was the leader of Somalia. He was murdered in 1969 by Siad Barre. Siad Barre, when he was taking power, he murdered Abdurrashid Al Shamak in 1969. Cyprien Ntaryamira was murdered in 1994. He was only 39 years old. So this list continues. There are so many, you can't even finish. You can't finish. And these were only sitting heads of state. Leave alone these other ones that were killed even before reaching the helm of power. These ones were killed on the throne. Forgive me for calling it the throne. They were still in office. These are the only ones. But we have those ones that were killed even before they ascended to power. We have forgotten Samora Machel of Mozambique. We have forgotten. There are so many. There's so many. I'm trying to remember those I can. But all were killed because of one thing. Because they just wanted fairness for our people. Just one reason like this. But even talking about it, these guys feel irritated. So when you look at, let me give you a case study of South Africa. So many of you guys praise Mandela. I don't know why. I don't know if you lack facts. I just don't understand. This is a guy that you pretended maybe he was fighting and he was compromised along the way, but he was saying he was fighting for the liberation of the people of South Africa, the black people, to have a fair country where they can all express their feelings. That land should go back to the owners. Economy should be controlled by the natives. So it's still what happened, what changed. So now you guys are glorifying him, but the same things he was pretending to fight for, nothing ever changed. Everything stayed the same, but you guys are still, praising the guy. Simanyaki, freedom fighter. Freedom fighter for what? Just of recent, people were rioting in KwaZulu-Natal when they were trying to in Johannesburg, when they were trying to take Zuma into prison. Because they believed they were betrayed. And you guys, just because of the propaganda, those whites and the colored sold it to us and you bought it, that a guy is a hero. They gave him Nobel Prizes for keeping them in power. So what he did actually is a total sellout. It's the worst thing an African child has ever. That's why people like Julius Malema and his EFF are gaining ground. Because it was a myth. After getting out of prison, he married the same wife. Because remember, in those days, they had just killed Samora Machel. You know what Mandela did? After divorcing Winnie Madikizela Mandela, he went for that same wife. And I strongly believe that wife was his handler, to make sure that he doesn't deviate from what he was told to do. He was a total sellout. Look at South Africa now. Africans are left out to be drug lords by default. Farmlands, a fertile land, everything, gold mines and everything are being controlled by the colored. So now you tell us that he fought for freedom, working what? Don't sell to me that bullshit. At least I'm about that. You should always look for the truth. You should always look for the information, not to be gullible. African children, we deserve fairness. We don't seek anything, exceptional. We just want us to be treated fairly. Not everything to be now on us. Every bad thing. If they want to test anything, they want to test Ebola, they take it to Congo. Why? These are the things no one is going to tell you, but you have to open up. They have killed our people. Now they are killing people in Congo. They have killed people in Nigeria. They killed people in Zimbabwe. They killed these people in Zambia. They are now still actually killing people in Mozambique right now. But we are still praising the same perpetrators, lining up on their embassies for visas. Something must change. And it's not going to come out of our leaders because we didn't choose those leaders. They were brought to us by those same people that perpetrated our suffering. No one brought Museveni. No one brought Kagame. No one brought Kabila. No one brought Tshisekedi. Tshisekedi was the third in the race. Now he's the president. Now you expect him to give, yet you didn't even vote for him. You expect him to work on your interest. He must serve the master. So today I will conclude it at that, but we have to do something. At least we have to open up our minds. We must understand the truth as it is. However, inconveniencing it is. Something has to change. Something, at least we have to elevate our mind. We need to move away from what they are selling to us. We cannot continue like this. And the only way to do that is to start understanding how things work and why we are in this situation and how we change it. We cannot rely on the same people that are making us suffer like this. They have no solution for us. Thank you so much for watching. Keep on this channel. Stay tuned. Hit the notification button. I'll be coming up with so many videos about the neocolonialism project and its impact on Africa as a continent. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. It's Kalibala Michael. I sign out.